Hello everybody, welcome to the video. This is my 1990 Nissan 300ZX that I bought wrecked from Copart for $1,000. Currently doesn't run and it looks like crap. So hopefully by the end of the video we get this thing running, driving, clean it up a little bit, and yeah, stick around to the end to see if that happens, and let's just get right into it. It's pretty solid. It was originally from Texas supposedly, and in Ohio that's a good thing because that's about the worst of the rust and it's not that bad, it don't look like. And it's freaking ugly. It's beyond ugly because all the peeling clear cut, which it looks like it was repainted. And it's got this monstrosity of a bumper. I don't know who decided that. And freaking aluminum spoiler. Look at that. You know, I don't know if I like it. I don't think I do, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting. And that's the worst damage. We'll get into the damage a little bit more, but that's the worst damage I've seen. And I mean, it's pretty, you know, there's a good clunk here. And, but supposedly, the damage it was listing in the listing, you know, that's what listings do, they list things, was the freaking front end. And obviously there's no bumper in it. There's a bumper in here, but we go in and pop the hood. And all the structure, let me put the hood prop up. All the structure in here, I mean, I gotta really, you know, take a little better of a look and take it apart a little bit, but it does not look, I mean, it looks extremely straight. I mean, the bumper, I mean, if it had any sort of collision, the bumper would not be the way it looks now. I guess unless someone tried to replace it, but I don't know if that's from factory, but that's why I think it was resprayed. You got all this overspray here. But, I mean, the motor looks pretty clean. There's some oil in it, which is obviously good. And it does not look like there's any serious damage up here. Like I said, there's, you know, your bottom plastic diffuser, whatever you want to call it, which obviously gets messed up in transport, but I don't know. And then you look at the door gaps, which is a big, you know, big telltale on these, and they're all really solid. This one at the bottom, I guess, gets a little bit tight, but I mean, it's a 30-year-old car. The doors sag in all old cars. But even back here where the freaking brunt of the damage is, besides where it pulled it, right here, because obviously it's low, the freaking door gap is really uniform, and there's no issues with that. The hood's up right now, but the hood door gap, or the hood door gap, the panel gap on the door is good. This is the worst spot. It gets a little bit tight and gets really tight at the bottom, but it, you know, the whole car is red and then this fender's purple. I think there's potentially someone threw a new fender on it and it just didn't line up 100%. I mean, I don't know why it'd be purple all the way in here if it was the original fender. That just seems weird to me, but that's the worst spot. I mean, going back here on the door, I mean, it is beyond solid. And I don't know who the heck was thinking anything about this bumper. Maybe someone else knows more than I do, and it's maybe some sort of special bumper. I mean, obviously it's aftermarket, but I don't know who would pay any serious money for that. Going to the interior, I mean, the interior is kind of beat up. I don't have a lot of experience with these at all, but it's just like the general styling here is pretty sweet. But the seats are all ripped up, and obviously we have the front bumper in here, which is nice, which the aftermarket looks like the same kit as the rear. And there's also, you know, aftermarket side skirts, which is kind of interesting. I'm kind of curious to get some of this stuff pulled out. It's like wedged in here like crazy. But gauge cluster looks really good. I think it's like 120,000 miles on it, 128,000, which, I mean, ain't bad. Look at this freaking, and this thing had to have like 1,000 horsepower with that tack on it. And it smells really bad in here, like mildewy dog poop. But that's kind of the general walk around on it. It didn't say it didn't run. This kind of concerns me. I hate seeing random wires. But yeah, I'm gonna start to probably get this thing back, get some of the stuff pulled out, and we can kind of take a better look at all what is on the inside, and we can go from there. I happened to get this nut out, this bolt out, the nut out, the bolt. I tried to bend this a little bit, and you know, it don't look great. You know, you look at the you look at the fuel pump, and you kind of look at it, and you're like, huh, it kind of makes sense why this thing doesn't work, because it's freaking rusty. I've worked on cars a whole lot older than this. It's at presumably longer than this, presumably, and they have not been this bad. So I'm gonna try to clean it up, but that's not the majority of the issue. I think this will clean up. Realistically, I should buy a new one, but they're talking about $200. I don't want to spend $200. But we go into here, you know, just stick your hand here. I feel like I'm gonna get bit by a rabies-infested shark or something. But yeah, I don't know if you could tell, but there's a bunch of rust in there, which anyone who knows anything about anything knows that isn't good. And The only, and I have no idea what a new tank would cost, but I guess seeing that costs $200, I can't imagine it's cheap. The only good thing is, I know you guys can't see, but if I feel down in here, there are a bunch of loose chunks, and I have to really drop it to know, but the rest of it seems like it's in good shape. It might be savable. And I know I mentioned earlier, we're down a strap. I wonder if someone knew to freaking drop the tank. I don't know if I want to do that first or I want to pressure wash it. I guess I'm just going to drop the tank, which before I do that, I'm going to take this monstrosity of a bumper off, because I think it's going to make it a little bit easier. And that thing is, according to the gauge, is pretty much full. So I'm probably going to end up taking a gasoline bath, which is great. And yeah, I'll get this bumper pulled off, and then we'll at least half the work's done. One strap's off, and we just got to pop the other one off, and hopefully not drowned in gasoline. So I'll catch back up with you guys if I'm still alive in about 30 minutes. After a little bit of pushing here, a little pushing there, a little getting upset because bolts are stripped, we got the tank out, and unfortunately, right here might cost me $600. This is I imagine it's a breather, which might be able to fix, but obviously there's like a little tube, line went to, and it broke off. And like I said, I was looking at these tanks, they're like $600, $700, $800, and I don't want to spend that kind of money. So I'm going to, first things first, get the old gas out, and probably put some vinegar and some rocks in and shake it around a bunch and let it sit for a couple days and hope to get a lot of this glump out. That's just no good. I don't know. Can it be saved? I don't know if you can see all that well. Probably not. It's all pretty corroded in there, which ain't any fun. One option is to ditch that tank, and then there's a ton of room back here, and we could put a fuel cell in, and that would be way cheaper, because I could probably find a fuel cell for $100 versus $600. Not to mention, where'd the sending unit go? I mean, I might be able to clean this up. I probably could, but holy crap, is that bad? And that's another $200. If I really want to get brand new sending unit tank, it's like nearly $1,000. Or I can get a fuel cell, and then, honestly, the pump that I bought for that might even work for that. So I don't know, there's options. But now finally, I think we're gonna pressure wash it. Probably not today, maybe not, I don't know, because I'm gonna start work. I'm gonna try to get that going. But get this thing cleaned up, because it's freaking ugly right now. I don't think a clean is gonna solve all those issues, but can hurt. Right now, with it being so nice outside, got the pressure washer out, and we're gonna freaking clean this thing up and get hopefully all this old mold out and dirt and grime, and I don't think the pressure washer will take this off, but this is ugly. Get a quick walk around, see how dirty it is. We're gonna go through and clean out the inside too here in a second. But yeah, get some of this crap off. It's a little bit easier. Oh, it's a little bit easier to work on a car when it ain't all dirty, a little more motivating. Not to mention, this piece of tape's been annoying me. I guess I could just peel it right off. Oh, there goes my whole freaking bumper, dude. What the heck? I wonder why the tape was on there in the first place. Oh, that's better. But yeah, I'm gonna get you guys up on a tripod, and we're gonna get pressure washing. The first time I got to use the foam cannon, and once I figured it out, man, it worked really well. Cleaned up so much nicer, and I didn't have to hand wash it, which is no fun. That bumper was really nasty, but going down the side, I mean, you still got, it ain't gonna fix bad paint, but you know what it did fix? There's a bunch of must down here, a bunch of dirties, but what we did find is we got a little bit of crunchiness, which I mean, kind of expected. The more and more I dig into it, the more and more I'm gonna find, but it's not horrible. This thing also came with side skirts, which I'll probably show you guys a little bit later. They actually look kind of sweet on the car. There's a little bit back there, and I think there's, it's pretty solid up here. But they cleaned up pretty well, and it don't look like a turd anymore. Okay, well, it still looks like a turd. It looks less like a turd. I mean, we have this sweet carbon fiber wrap on it, that needs to come off eventually. But hey, I ended up using the spare on my clips to get this thing rolled back here because it was not cooperating. Ooh, look at that, I missed a spot. Look how bad I am at this. But on this side, I don't think we undercut. Okay, yeah, we did find some more rust over here. None of this seems to be going all the way through. But, yeah, that's not horrible. It's actually probably one of the nicest cars I started off with, rust-wise. But, cleaned up pretty good for what it was. Now, probably gonna step onto the inside because, holy crap, is there junk in here. And it kind of smells musty. When I say it kind of smells musty, it smells extremely musty in here. Ugh. I think probably the T-tops were leaking at one point, but yeah, we gotta get all this stuff pulled out of here. We'll get a nice vacuum and get it smelling a little better. So when I mess around with it, hopefully drive it around a little bit, it doesn't smell like death. I'm about to start vacuuming here, and I didn't realize just how freaking dirty it was back here. Holy crap. Look at that. Repaired. I think the other side's even worse. Look at that. What kind of dog does this look like? A stinky one, that's all I know. All right, I'm gonna get this knocked out and catch you on the flip side. Got the trunk freshened up in here a little bit. Looks a little bit better, but what I was seeing is how dusty this was. I vacuumed the one side. Obviously, that's a vacuum side, and that's not the vacuum side. It was freaking dusty. Like, it actually looks halfway decent now that I got a vacuum. So I'm gonna finish this up and then move to the front of the car. Yes. I cleaned up. I cleaned up pretty good. Look at that. Floor is not super dirty. Now I gotta wipe all this dirty, nasty leather and vinyl down and get the last little bit of the interior spiffied up a little bit. All right, so about after an hour of work, we got it looking pretty good in here. There's some side panels and whatnot we're missing back here, but it looks a million times better. It smells a million times better. Cleaned up the plastic, vacuumed the floor up, put some leather re-moisturizer on there, and I missed a couple spots, but that stuff works so well. It brings the leather back to life like nothing else. The back seat's all ripped up, which I think eventually I'm gonna rip it out of there, but and it looks a million times better. I don't know what that is. I'm leaving it in there so I don't lose it, but woo-wee. It actually looks like a normal car. It looks like a normal driving car that's a little bit dirty. But back up here, you can see where it's all cracked and faded. It was way worse. That leather stuff works pretty well. The seat, besides the rips, actually turned out nice. The dash looks really clean, which is nice because you usually don't want to mess with the dash. I love the instrument cluster in this car. Oh, it's so sweet. I want to talk about the fuel tank. Good news on the fuel tank. One, I have the pump coming. It'll be here in a couple days. Two is, you guys probably can't see it, but under here, all the rust, I had it sitting in vinegar and it actually looks halfway decent. Now, the only other issue we have is the fact that this popped off. I believe it was just a breather, and there's two options. I think, obviously it's a little sketchy with the gas tank, but I think I can grind this down a little bit, and I was gonna tap it, and I have like a little like elbow fitting, like one of these essentially, and I was gonna try to tap it and put it in there and just put some goop around it. Or I can always, if I wanted to be safe, I think I could probably tap into this, because then obviously it's a little bit easier to get this completely free of gas, and I could tap into this and put something there, but that should save me about $700 and also give us the ability to freaking drive it. Probably toss it back in the car and see if she'll start up and actually drive around a little bit. Yay! Alrighty, got the car cleared out a little bit, at least so we can move around. Hooked the battery up. The one fuse was out over here. I had to throw a new fuse in it, and it didn't have the right amperage, so hopefully don't light anything on fire. First off, you need the key. I don't know what's with this key. Anyone knows? I don't know. I guess maybe that's how they were, but it just looks weird to me. All right, boom. Look at that. Nothing. But we found this cool switch, which is kind of unnecessary, but is interesting. Oh, we're still not getting power in here. I wonder if the battery died on me. That's something I'll have to check out. But I guess I'll just tell you what happened. I don't have to show you it really quickly. Car goes, it fires, or it cranks over, but it doesn't fire. And actually in the back, I don't know if you could tell, but there's a freaking gas tank strap off, which I guess, and it doesn't really matter. I guess I thought someone was trying to drop the tank, which is possible, but it seems like you can actually access the tank in the back. But to get an idea, to see if that's actually our issue, once I figure out the battery situation, because it did, I don't know. It ain't clean and they're not on there tight, so maybe that was part of the issue, but I'll have to take a look at that really quick. But I was gonna pop the hoses off and then get into the throttle body and spray some starting fluid to see if it would fire. If it fires, it seems like gas is obviously our issue. And I'll catch back up with you when I figure out the whole battery situation. Alrighty, I was messing around with it. This one's freaking a pain to get off. Oh, I got it. All right. You get that out of the way. Open the throttles up. If we can actually get the starting fluid down in there. This is a tricky angle. All right, now we're just hoping it goes a little pop, 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 pop. And if we get a little pop, 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 we're gonna check out the fuel pump. That was even better. It didn't sound bad. It sounded like it was shooting freaking mice pellets out the back, or maybe rust chunks. I don't know, but I'm gonna do some investigating, kind of figure out what our problem is with the fuel pump. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, all the riggery going on here. There's too much crap in the floor. Boom, got that switched on. Hopefully it doesn't kill the power like it does half the time. And it just did. I don't understand why it does that. Oh, all right, we got some beeping going on. Flick the switch over. Let's see if it'll fire. Let's see if it'll crank over. All right, and you can hear it. And first thing I thought of was obviously shoot some starting fluid down in it. So that's what I'm gonna try right now. And this thing hopefully will stop beeping at me. We'll give it another whirl. All right, ready to give it another try. Yeah, I just don't think it's pushing enough fuel. The cool thing is, it actually seems like we're getting oil pressure. A little more starting fluid. I actually popped this off when we had gas coming out, so it was pumping. It smelled bad too. I mean, that's part of the thing we're fighting too, is old gasoline that was just stuck in the lines. Nope, I think that's all about it's got in it. I think I'm actually, I mean that was pretty exciting. One, oil pressure. Two, it idled for like 1.37 seconds, which was about 3.71 seconds more than it did before. I think I'm gonna wait on the fuel pump. I also got a master cylinder coming. It looks like it's leaking, because I'd like to be able to run and drive it in this video, at least around the driveway a little bit. Got it running, got it rigged up on a fuel system because the old sending unit wasn't working, but it overall sounds pretty good. There's a little bit of a tick over here, but it's got no mufflers on it. You can kind of tell. Some smoke coming out of this side. It sounds pretty consistent. It doesn't really sound like it's missing. It's rattling a little bit, but we got a fuel leak, so I'm gonna shut her off, but sounds pretty good. All right, that was pretty cool seeing it run. I got a new fuel pump coming, an inline pump. I can actually run it out the back out of a gas can. In the meantime, while waiting on that, is I got a new master cylinder because this one is leaky. The only thing that sucks is obviously that doesn't have a reservoir, and I think the reservoir was the issue. There was like a bunch of paper stuff on top of it. I think because it was probably leaking all over everything, and you can kind of see all the corrosion. So I'm gonna get this popped off. Hopefully I don't break any of the brake lines, but they don't look too horrible. And then I'll throw a little bit of brake fluid in, enough to hopefully just stop so I can get the car hopefully pulled into the garage once I get the fuel pump in. And we'll see how that goes. Hopefully nothing bad happens. All right, we're back and we got the new brake master cylinder in it. It doesn't look like it leaks. However, we go inside of the car. I bled it out a little bit. I was being lazy because it needs some more work, but all the way down to the floor. And I think I saw like the rear passenger brake line over there is shot. So without getting into a bunch of that stuff, because I'd like to do it right, because I'd like to full on build this car, I think we're going to call that quits for today. We actually got it running, and I may or may not have off camera threw it in gear, and it did go in gear without any brakes, which was a little sketchy, but that wraps this one up. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it and you want to see more, because we're doing a full on build on this thing, super budget friendly. You know, starting off with $1,000, we're already in the good budget range, but going forward from there, you know, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one.